Good afternoon, this is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com, and I'm here to go over with you the Stock Swoosh Show Play of the Day. This is JCP, it is April 9th. JCP gapped today on some type of news information. This is not an earnings gap, that's okay. I did watch it this morning. When I saw it this morning, this was the only thing I liked. There was really not a lot to do today, I'll be honest with you. There was a couple of things to watch. AA didn't set up right. This wasn't even perfect. It ended up playing out perfect, but the gap in and of itself, the way that it set up was not fabulous. I did like the fact that the market was gapping up. This was gapping down, and the numbers worked out perfectly with this. Now, the market is rallying right now and lifting off. JCP is still holding the weakness. I'm not so sure this is going to go anywhere now the rest of the day, though, based on the fact that the market is holding so bullishly. I can't believe that the 20 is almost down on top of these people, though, in the 15. Target on this is 1371. I think you got to be out of this now into this drop with the market rallying. But if you really, really were desperate to take an afternoon trade, this is the best short out there. And you can't do a long right now. If you're not in the long with the market rallying at this time of the day, you miss the entry for the long. So if you've got to take something, if you have to do a trade, stop would have to be here, like 14.34, and it's still like less than 30 cents. But the target's 13.71. 13.71 is the target. The real entry on this, if you really, really wanted to do it, was not here, okay? Not here to take it again because I wanted to see it rally back to 14.50. Didn't do it. Well, it's really holding the weakness. You could have done it in here. Confirmed it wasn't going higher. Retested, dropped. Keep the conviction, confirmed it's not going higher. Take it here, here, here. There was 3 entries here if you wanted to do it. You got all the confirmation you wanted for it to break again. Now, whether or not this breaks the low of the day, though, is a different story. Why? Because of the market. This is either going to close like somewhere right around here, like wiggle and jiggle itself, and close like around this part of the day, like around between 14.30 and 13.95. This is going to close, or it's going to break the low of the day and go to 13.71, which would be a huge, huge move for this. And it could happen because this thing has so much selling in it now. There's actually more volume in this stock right now in JCP than the market. 69 million shares. And that's more than the market has right now. It's about 16 million right now at the market, the last I checked. So there's a lot of pressure on this thing. The pressure is on the downside. Once again, look at the chart. Here we go. Where is the direction of the chart? Down, down, down. And you get a gap down, you rate the gap. If it rates good enough, you play it. If it doesn't, you don't. Lately, I've been getting these gaps. Crazy as it sounds, I have a very tough system that may rate 16, 17, 18, 19. And I typically like to watch and play aggressively 20 or above. But they've been setting up some of them so beautifully around those numbers. You must know how to take the trade. You have to see it happen real time. I teach this in the class. But when you get a gap that does not rate high, the play must be solid and on point. As it turns out, this was today. Now, this thing has been a whippersnapper for a solid year, meaning everything you think it could have done, it doesn't act accordingly. It's been a rough one to get going to trade. This is the nicest trading day I've ever seen in this thing since it's gotten underway. I have no idea why, other than the fact that it is just ready to fall off a cliff. It's ready to fall off a cliff. Swing core target on this is $10. $10. And everybody obviously is seeing the same thing because nobody's getting out of this. Here's a good example. We were discussing this last night. This is short covering here in this big green bar up. And if you really, really had conviction for the bigger target, well, no, you still have to take some off in here. There's no reason to be even in this through the push-up. You just get back in. But anyways, this is not buying. I even said with the market rallying, there's a chance this thing could actually have a tail in the day. A tail in the day and a small body red or a medium body red. It's not even going to do that. But then again, it hasn't closed yet. If this thing closes up around 14, let me see. Yeah, this thing will have half a tail, but wants to close around the 40s. I have to see what it does here into the 2 o'clock. This is not a great time of the day. to be looking for follow through. Why? This is an early setup. Be in it if you want to, but the stop has to be way over here. This 20 hasn't squished down on it yet. This thing could back up into itself, reset up, and then go or fail. All right, this is just not going to go anywhere probably the rest of the day. If it does, it's going to break the low of the day, which is 13.90. You know, this morning I thought this could even get to the full-on 1371 target. This got to the dream target, though, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, it got there today. This ended up playing out so nicely. You really have to know how to trade these things, though. Specifically when the gap isn't perfect. Does it mean it's not going to work? No, it means you can watch it. If you get a great setup, a perfect setup, you take it. And if you don't, you don't. And the thing with this is, if you waited for too much confirmation, then you missed it. Many people short under the low of the day. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible trade to take. And that's what happened here. Lots of times after this, they back up on top of themselves, but you see it here. All right? And people do that today. It was a huge stop, and it pushed in on itself into it. What made me realize it was going to break 14 was here. This backed up on itself here and was looking for a second trade to call. The first one I called today, the first trade I called today was amazing. It was right on the open into the rally up, into the push up when it held the number. But this thing here, I kept looking. I was wanting a rally to call a second trade into, I said, if this can rally all the way up to 1470 and still be good. It couldn't even get up to 1460. In this moment that this 5-minute bar formulated itself, you know what I said? I said, it's going to go today to the full-on target. I said it's going to break. And it never gave a clean entry then. You can't enter this. This makes no sense. And then that was it. And once you're under $14, you're looking to get out. If it doesn't continue down to the full-on target, which is 1371, you got to get out. Look at this thing here. You know, if you like to trade the afternoon, this is the only good thing to do. That's clear direction, nice follow through, still has target left in it. I don't think this is going to break 1371 today. I think if this breaks 1390, it will go to 1371 and halt and stop. There's only 2 hours and 15 minutes left in the day. This is a beautiful trade. This is a really, really nice trade. This is probably going to have another red day in it tomorrow, no matter what it does here. No matter what this thing does today, I have a feeling this will have a continuation gap tomorrow, no matter what it does. Whether it goes down and breaks the low of the day, goes to the 1371 target, and if it doesn't go to the 1371 target, it will definitely break that tomorrow. I think it's going to break that tomorrow, in which case then the target would be like 13. Here, this is good. The afternoon is not my cup of tea. If I'm still in something in the afternoon, it's because I'm managing a trade for the morning, but I typically am all out or take profits in the morning. If you like to trade the afternoon, you've got to look for quality setups with follow-through that still have target left in them or haven't gotten to the full-on target. JCP happens to be one of these things. The amazing thing is, though, that every time I get something like this where I see such a beautiful, beautiful pattern that sets up, even on a gap that isn't perfect, personally, on a personal level, in reference to my teaching, my business, everything I do, which I teach how to trade gaps. I teach a class on how to rate gaps. It confirms and gives me conviction in the overall strength and power of the gap, which has translated into better results with my trading, my teaching, and everything else. This JCP has had many days where it has not traded properly. Today, it did. And that's why you've got to learn how to play these things. It's more than just even picking the right stock symbol. It's the stock symbol, it's the rating of the gap, and it's the play. The play is important because that's where you're entering the trade and you're taking the trade, and the exit is where you're making the money and booking it. And if you don't know how to do that, this is something that you have to learn from me, which I do extremely well, and I teach in the class. So the class I teach is called The Golden Gap. It's this weekend, April 13th and 14th. This JCP, just really, really an amazing trade today. The potential for this today is 1371. I don't think it's going to break that. Not with the market rallying this way. This probably could push back up against itself, do another retest, follow through and set up and fall into the close, into 1371, possibly with a pull-in the market into the close, or this thing just wiggles and jiggles until tomorrow. This is had its move. The move was this morning. This is the reason to trade gaps. You trade gaps to get the momentum move in the morning. If you want to sit and take an afternoon trade, you can do it, but the stops are bigger and they have to be at the right place. And you've got to suffer through what? Waiting for them to go. In the morning, you don't have to wait for them to go. I called this trade this morning. It fell off a cliff from the call that I made in it. So there's no suffering. It triggers, you're in. Boom. You're up. You're in and you're up. Whereas this type of thing, you would, if you had taken this trade in here, you would still be waiting for it to go. Here, if you'd taken it, which was the entry, it backed up on itself, you would have had to stick with it to have the conviction. How would you have known it? It held, it didn't do anything wrong. It's not doing anything wrong. Its time of the day is lunch. You can't expect the full-on follow-through in lunch after you had a morning move like that and the market's rallying and went over the high of the day. The one thing I like about this is the market went over the high of the day and this is holding the weakness and breaking down again. Just don't know if it has enough energy left in it to capitulate one more time, but anything's possible. Anything's possible. Nobody wants this thing. Anyone that's long is selling out of it today, and there is both going on in here. 70 million shares, you get in everything. Sellers, people shorting, it's everything. That's what's making this kind of action. That's what's making the continuation despite going against the market. That's what's making these setups play out today so beautifully with the numbers, which it's coordinating itself. And I was even wanting it to rally more. It couldn't even rally more. Why? Because the market was so weak. This is people exiting the position, not buying. It's short covering. This is why you got to watch it and see what to do. So this is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com. If you're interested in more information on how to learn how to find these gaps and play in these gaps and get the entries in these gaps and read all the numbers, the resistance, the support, the targets, then please contact me. The class I'm doing is this weekend. It's April 13th and 14th. I have 100% conviction in the information that I teach in my class and the trading that I do. I know because I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm calling it live. The results, this month of April, I said to myself, this is going to be a great month. And you know what? It's not even earnings season yet. And things have played out accordingly to this starting out to be an amazing month. And it's going to continue. All of April, all of May is going to be earnings. Earnings are going to go through until the holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. And they may boop a little bit in June. There's going to be a little break in June. And then third quarter will start the end of June into July. So now's the time to trade these things. This is the time to trade and make money. When the gaps are good and ripe and going and moving, the momentum. This is how you make money as a trader. Playing the momentum. From where I called this stock today, it ran $1 without blinking an eye, no suffering. Boom! Fell off a cliff. Perfect entry, clean run. Just incredible. So if you're interested in more information about my gap class and learning how to trade stocks like this or take the entries, email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you later.